Hello and welcome to another Football League Adventures podcast with your host Lee. Mike is not here tonight, so he will be back with us Sunday, be reviewing Championship from there. But I have got my first guest of the podcast. It is the voice that you hear behind the camera of Girls Go Ground Hopping. And I'm joined by Tony. Tony, how are we?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for getting me on, and like I say, appreciate being the first guest. So hopefully it goes well for us both.
Yeah, no, not a problem, mate, not at all. So I mean, I think I came across your channel just by flicking through some videos and you sort of popped up. And then from there I just obviously carried on watching and we've had a few conversations back and forth on messaging. Uh, and I think it's really good that you're sort of like me. I do it with my eldest every now and then, and it's nice to see that you do it with your two girls, taking them all around different grounds. And I think the good thing with you is it's a lot of women's football as well, which you
Yeah.
don't see a lot of on many channels these days. So really, it's sort of what got you into to starting Girls Go Ground Hopping.
Well, it's a mix. It started really. My daughter, she kind of took an interest in playing football. So we went away on holiday and we went to a match in the US. And one of my daughters, Freya, who's the oldest, she's 5 now. Um, she loved the match. She loved everything about it, the singing, the food beforehand. So
Yeah,
when I come home, I wanted to show her what what football is, what the communities are all about. We've got a local team called Runcorn Linnets, and I took her down there. We watched the women for obvious reasons, just so she's actually seeing people like herself or what she might be doing. And then I then took her to trial at football just to see how she got on, and
yeah,
she loved it. So yeah, it started from there. In terms of the channel, what I was doing originally was I was sharing photos with friends and family, and then we went to a Runcorn Linnets men's game, and there was
yeah,
one of the volunteers were there. He basically said there's a non-league page on Facebook, literally called the non-league football, and there's about I think they had about 20, 30,000 people or subscribers, whatever you want to call them. And there's a fella on there called Darren Ashley, who you might know. Um, he he said to me, "Why would you film?" And I said, oh, "I'm not too sure with it being the two girls." And he said it'd be good, like you're going around all these grounds. So I just had to think about what I could do because obviously exposing two young girls to one a camera, but
yeah.
then obviously two, yeah, you've got the world of the internet. So that's where I come up with the theme really. So that I'd started the ground up and before obviously doing the channel, and then there was just inspirations online where I thought I've got to do it because there wasn't a lot of people um, going to matches with girls in a sense that you could see. So even now, going to women's games, a lot of people you see there are dads with the lads still. So it's still a rarity.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah,
I mean, I got my girls into it by taking them to see the Brighton women play,
yeah,
and they got into it from there. My eldest stayed with it. My youngest got bored and dropped off. So yeah, she doesn't come anymore. But yeah, my eldest has done it. She was the one that said to me about doing the YouTube channel. And
yeah,
then yeah, we've taken it from there. And I think in a way it builds more of a bond with
yeah,
with dads and their daughters. Because you can say like you do, like I've seen with your two, it's something that you can do together, which is your thing. and
Yeah.
I think that's what dads sort of need with their daughters as well, which is a good thing to see.
Yeah.
Uh, so how much do do the girls get excited when it comes to a Saturday or a Sunday and they're like, right, where are we going today, Dad, or what game are we doing today?
Yeah, well, we get it pretty much. Obviously, with them being in school, they pretty much know the weekends upon us, so they know a match is coming along. So they get the excitement of where we're going, but obviously the understanding of, like, we have the understanding of the teams, the locations and stuff. Their excitement comes from obviously what we do there. So, but I say to everyone, like, people always say to me, "Oh, I wish I could take my kids. Like, I wish they could do what your kids are doing." But obviously, the kids float in and out of anything. So there's some matches that we go to where they probably don't watch any of the game. They're literally playing, the climbing, and meeting other kids and stuff like that. And then sometimes they're big into it. So the women's games, especially, they have a better understanding of what the football is, what the match is, because it's a slower game, it's more technical. Um, and obviously, there's not like at certain games, non-league especially, the crowds are less, so it's not as loud. There's no
Yeah.
distractions. So it swings and roundabouts with them really, but there's something different every time. Like in the last match we went to, I didn't watch any of the match because it was one of our most requested teams from people who
Right.
follow us.
Yeah.
So when I got there, we were stopped even before I went in because the guy on the turnstiles followed the page, followed the channel. So we spent 10 minutes talking to him before we even
Yeah.
got in. So, and then obviously they made the fuss of the girls. So what I've stopped doing is I've stopped putting it out there where we're going, because obviously clubs want to showcase everything about them, don't they? So if you're turning up, it doesn't matter who you are, they'll look out for you anyway, especially non-league. It doesn't have to be girls. It can literally just be me on my own, and they'll come and find me and say hello, whether it's a club secretary. So I used to post all the time and like updates. This is what we're doing this weekend, and it upset the flow basically. So now
Yeah.
I don't say where I'm going um, because they know we're coming. So, and I think it helps having two girls. It's different to like a dad and a lad going. They
Yeah.
make a massive fuss of them all the time. So, yeah. So it's becoming probably more harder for me because the girls are they'd literally just run round as soon as we get there. But yeah. But yeah, one of the best things I always say, like doing it now, is no matter what ground we go, I always just chuck them over the barrier and let them go on the pitch.
Yeah.
And there was a guy at Breck Road, or Lower Breck, and he said you can't do that. Like, you can't, they can't go on. And I said, I know, yeah. I said league regulations state for that league that you can't go on the pitch. It's just not allowed.
Yeah.
And he said, my lads always wanted to go on. And I said, well, just throw them on. I said, chuck them
Yeah.
on. And he's like, no, I can't. I said, what security guard or what volunteer is going to come over and chuck two girls off a pitch and upset them? I said, and they'll do the same for your lad. And he chucked his lad over, and then they started playing football. And you could see some of the volunteers around, like, should we be doing this? But yeah, that's yeah, it's some of the grounds like North, what is it now? National League North and National League South. Anything above that, you wouldn't get anywhere near a pitch because of obviously security and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna do it at some point. I'm gonna throw them on and just see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I like with my channel, I do a lot of National League South, and the grounds there are stewards, there are people watching, so
Yeah,
there is always that opportunity where you think, oh, I'll put them over that side now and see what happens.
yeah,
They are a little bit more stricter, but it's sort of a 50-50 of what's going to happen.
Yeah,
But
well, we went to Dorchester. We went to Dorchester recently, and I was going to do it there, but there was a lot of security, and I asked the guy, and he said basically from I think they're the one below National League South, but he said basically what it is nothing happens to your kid or nothing happens to you, but basically if it's reported to the league, the club get a fine. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'd still probably fancy doing it, but it's obviously the club who suffer and not
yeah,
myself.
not,
So
not
we
us.
didn't do it there. Yeah, you can tell the ground you go.
Yeah, yeah. So have you sort of with the channels, because you've got obviously you've got your Instagram, and then you've got
Yeah,
your sort of your YouTube channel as well. So
yeah.
are you sort of looking to just stay with Instagram, or post more on YouTube, or are you just trying to build them both? What's the future idea?
Probably interlink them. So eventually, like providing we get a following of some of description, like if we got 1,000 followers on YouTube where you can obviously try and make a little bit of money out of it
Yeah,
or something like that, we would probably move from socials over to YouTube. But obviously at the moment we're trying to share as much content. So some of it is effectively repetitive. So most pages you'll go on, it'll be probably the same videos, but eventually we'll probably have Facebook as the long form, Instagram for reels, and somewhere in between with the likes of TikTok. And again, YouTube and Facebook will probably work hand in hand with a longer form video down the line. But obviously, when you're trying to get your content and people interested, you kind of just flood the market, don't you? So yeah, but even now, I like looking between all the forms of social media. You see straight away what works, what doesn't.
yeah,
TikTok, there's anything over 20 seconds pretty much dives. But I just like say at the moment it's just consistency, posting on the same, and then
yeah,
hopefully, like say get them. So if you're on Facebook, you're going to get the long form. If you want a short form, get over to Instagram, get a quick reel. Um, and yeah. But like I said, to be honest with you, they're all kind of growing at the same number. So I'm roughly at around the same number on each one.
yeah.
So sooner rather than later, I'm going to have to plan more of how it's going to work.
Yeah, I got to say one thing with your videos on Instagram that I like is when you're filming the girls sort of running on the ground, but you're also mentioning about obviously the price to get in, the price of a drink, where the sort of where the food stands are, that sort of thing, which you look at some videos, and so even some YouTubers that I watch that do football content, they don't really mention all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah,
it could be like, for myself, if I sort of venture that way, and I go to some of those clubs, I know from watching your videos that, right, okay, so that's on the left. I know that sort of price wise is reasonable. And I just think that's really good, because you're giving something for the people that are watching to say, like, well, we can go there next Saturday and we know it's not going to be 30-40 pound to get in, and then have to spend the earth getting food and drink.
yeah. Yeah, but like the reason behind that really is mainly down to myself because I'm quite like a meticulous planner. So I like even before I leave the house, I kind of like to know obviously where we're going, what way, what's going on. I'm not one to like just go put Google Maps on and think oh like we'll get there. So and then what I did was when I was on the non-league page, I basically just put it out there and said, look, if you're like me, you'll want to know the ins and outs before you get to the ground, where to park, how much it is, blah, blah, blah. what do people want to know? And it was kind of, I wanted to plan it from walking in the door to leaving, what you want to know. Now, obviously, I miss certain aspects because I don't have like a pie, or I don't have a pint or anything like that. But what I wanted to do is, if you're walking in, you're having a pint, you know where you go when you're walking through the gate. There's the bar, there's the food stall. And then if I can, I'll obviously show the prices if you've got the prices. And it's just so people can get a gauge. But because, again, different formats, like I think if I was watching someone else, I'd watch it for sheer entertainment value. So
Yeah.
you all know, like YouTubers and all that, they're in crowds like screaming at games, like team screaming for teams as if they're supporters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's value for me, of like being there, like you're in amongst it. But with having two kids and you're going, you've got a different mindset. So it's
Absolutely.
a case of showing the content of the walk around, and then you've got to bring something else into it as well. So, like I say, it's literally a ground tour, and then whereas if I was on my own, I could sit in the crowd, take the game in fully, and I could probably create content from it. But if I'm filming and I've got one of the kids running riot somewhere, I'm just not going to be on the ball. So it's more of a storytelling exercise of the ground. Because what I wanted to do as well, I don't want to make it about us and the girls, because I'd never be able to get their personalities across much. And I want to make it about the club, especially at the lower levels. You want to feed as much information out as you can. So yeah, it's just passage of information, really. If someone can go on there tomorrow and say, how much is it going to cost to get in? How much is the program? How much is this? Pretty much know what it's going to cost for the day. And parents, especially, that they're going to want to know that. So it's like we did the Preston one, and I think it cost, altogether it was a friendly, and it cost £30. But I got a message off a lady whose son plays for them, not plays for him, who supports him, sorry.
Right.
And she couldn't afford to take him to go to a match. But what she said was, now she knows next pre-season she'd be there, because she knows she could take him, make it a day out, but it's affordable. Whereas it's just, and you just want to tell a story about the club you're at. The bigger the club, you're not going to get the story about like the ground and stuff, because you're segregated into a certain section. But what I have noticed, especially on numbers wise, the numbers filter down to the lower league trips for us. So like the likes of Preston and Wrexham, when I've been to there, whereas my content has had to be slightly different, the numbers have been bigger. And obviously once it filters, people start looking, and then the other ones do well. And you see people commenting on the Wrexham, and they've moved on to a local Welsh side that they didn't even know was around the corner. So yeah, and like I say, because my videos are consistent, I think people are getting in the loop of looking at the cost. Especially, I think non-league and ground hopping in general, that's the obsession. How much does it cost? And people want to share the cost, so everyone puts the ticket price, the food price. But I haven't seen many in video, and I think that's kind of where we're different in a different aspect, really.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's good. I mean, I've looked at some of your videos, and like the price and everything, it gives people a good balance of what they know they're going to be spending that day and everything. So yeah, it's really, really good. And I look at my videos and I think that's something that I should do as well, because I go to so many games. The amount of money I pay and everything, it'd be quite good for other people to know as well. So sort of watching all videos, it gives other people ideas on how to improve their content as well, which is
really hopefully it does.
Yeah.
But there's loads of aspects to, like, say, to your videos that I couldn't include. So that's what I mean. It's I'd love to do, like, I started off doing interviews. I've only ever published one, but when I'm interviewing a player, obviously there's no one there, but the kids have just got free run of the stadium. So it's like I come off an interview and I'm like, where have they gone? So
Yeah.
Northwich was one of them. I went to 1874 Northwich and I got to interview the captain, and the kids were just like, my mind just wasn't on
Yeah.
anything that was going on, and I thought that I was going to move. I was going to try and include stuff like that, but I just realised quick, like it ain't going to happen.
They're on their
So
own. Yeah.
I've got the best of both worlds, really, of taking the match in and kind of spending the match with the kids, really, because
Yeah.
like I said, like I love watching YouTube videos and Facebook stuff where people have filmed the game, spoke about the players, spoke about the current manager, the form, the league they're in. I love all that stuff because it's like I love like history and teams, so that's like my bread and butter. So if it was on my own, that'd be me doing it. But yeah, kind of get to do my thing and watch what I actually like. So
Yeah, no, that's really, really good. So yeah, it's all good. Yeah, so like mine, I will talk about the club, uh, and I sort of go on Twitter and try and get hold of some of the players to arrange doing an interview even before the game, that sort of thing. Then I know sort of with me when I go to a game, I know what I've got planned, what I'm going to be saying,
yeah,
and then I sort of take it from there. But also, like as we've been chatting back and forth on Instagram, and you sent me a few pictures of that. So have you got, which looks like you've got merch coming out, or are you looking to do any sort of merch?
probably not now. What I wanted to do is, like, because we're at a point now, and obviously we're a football channel pretty much. I wanted to create like a badge or a crest, so we kind of look like we're a part of it. Because I just designed the little girls' go ground up and made it like the colours that the kids wanted it as and all
Yeah,
that, and I thought that'll do. And obviously, when I started it, I just thought that'll be me. But I do get people message me about merch and get a badge, and I'll get a jumper and stuff like that, which is obviously like great to hear.
yeah,
But I suppose there's the two lads who run away day tours on Facebook. They give me the idea originally and said, "Why don't you just get a full like club badge as if it was a football
yeah,
shirt and get yourself a jersey?" So it was mainly for myself. I'll probably end up getting myself a jumper while we're
yeah,
walking around. At the same time, obviously, I'm trying to go unnoticed because no one knows what I look like until now. But
yeah.
no one knows what I look like really. So even though people recognize the girls, you don't really get people approaching you because obviously people coming over to two girls is people are frowned upon to a
Yeah,
certain point.
these days, yeah,
Yeah, they look at it and I think they know, but it's like because they don't know what I look like, it's harder. But yeah, in terms of the badge at the moment, I want to get stuff done. So we'll probably get ourselves a flag made, probably
yeah,
get some pin badges and start small, and then see how it goes. What we do get all the time, pin badges is probably the main one of people's kids wanting like stuff who obviously watchers and that. So it was like, have you got anything that we could kind of buy, or like when we're at a game, like give us a sticker or something like that. So we probably will have something done, but I probably wouldn't go down the lines of merch
yeah,
this early on. But you probably look yourself. There's websites out there you can sign up to where
yeah,
the people just go on and they'll just order a jumper and they'll put your crest on it. So we could go down that road, but it's mainly now because we're at a point where we're going to a lot of grounds, like to have it on our backs and people see the name and maybe they'll just, even if they don't approach us, just go on our Instagram or Facebook and think I'm going to look them up, because we are like, especially from sharing, maybe not from our pages, but sharing on Facebook groups and stuff, like people are starting to notice us, which is why, like say I've said, I'm not going to say where I'm going until about 2 hours before the game.
yeah,
So yeah, fingers crossed we will get some merch though eventually.
yeah. Well, if you get a pin badge done, let me know, and I'll definitely have one off you because I'm collecting them. So
Nice one.
that's a
I'll
definite.
get you one.
Absolutely, I'll wear it with pride in one of my videos. Don't worry.
Happy days.
But right, I think we're going to leave it there. It has been great chatting to you and just, just finding out everything about why you started the channel and, where you're looking to go with the channel, which is always good. And just, yeah, you get to experience with your daughters like I do with mine. So it's even better and it's worthwhile doing it that way. But I will now say that was a Football League Adventures podcast, and that was the Girls Go Ground Hopping. Thank you for joining me today. And as
Thank you very much.
always, I will see you all at a game, and Mike will be back with us on Sunday. So it is goodbye from me, and thank you, Tony.
Thank you very much. Nice one, mate.
Speak to you later.